ओके सो हम लोग ने ब्रांड मैनेजमेंट का बहुत कुछ फिनिश कर दिया। 3 चैप्टर्स और बाकी है, उसके बाद okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So we are going to discuss about sources of brand equity, capturing the customer mindset. We have to capture the customer mindset. हम लोग अभी तक सीखे हैं कि what is brand equity, right?
Yes.
Brand equity is basically reference of a brand in the minds of consumer. ठीक है, हम इसको कैप्चर कैसे करेंगे? हम लोग प्रेफरेंस तो क्रिएट करेंगे, लेकिन कैप्चर कैसे करेंगे? कस्टमर का माइंडसेट क्या है? ठीक है. Now what we are trying to do is, we are trying to answer a few questions. A laundry list of questions. Who buys our product or service? Who makes the decision to buy the product? Who influences the decision to buy the product? How is the purchase decision made? Who assumes what role? So you remember in one of the sessions we discussed that there are different entities when we purchase a product. There is a consumer, there is a shopper, there is a purchaser, there is a decision maker, there is an influencer, lot of people, right, in the whole system. There is a customer. Basically, आपका distributor वगैरह हुआ तो वो आपका customer है, and so on and so forth, right? So now, who is that person who is actually buying the product? Okay, who decides to buy the product? Who decides to, influence? क्या कौन सा product खरीदना है, कैसे खरीदना है, क्यों खरीदना है? How is the purchase decision made? Who assumes what role out of all these people? A customer, a consumer, a influencer, a purchaser, a shopper, a customer. Who assumes what role? ठीक है. What does the customer buy? What needs must be satisfied? Why do the customers buy a product, particular brand? Where do they go or look to buy the product or service? When do they buy? Any seasonality factor? What are the customers' attitude towards our product? Okay, what social factors might influence the purchase decision? Does the customer lifestyle influence their decisions? How is our product perceived by customer? How do demographic factors influence the purchase decision? इतने सारे क्वेश्चन, there are more. जितना big करोगे और भी क्वेश्चंस आते जाएंगे दिमाग में, ठीक है? Around a brand, consumer behavior. Okay, now qualitative research techniques. So there are a couple of research techniques जिससे हमको पता चलता है ये सारे questions के answers. Okay. So what are those? One is free association. Second is projective techniques. Third is JME. Jetman metaphor elicitation technique, neural research method, brand personality and values, ethnographic and experiential method. So let us see what each of them are. Okay. So free association, simplest and often most powerful way to profile brand association. हम लोग ने बात पहले बताया था, right? Brand equities के टाइम पे कि a brand has to be associated to a person's memory, right? जब तक वो नहीं होता है, then brand equity नहीं होने वाला. The brand equity cannot happen, right? So brand preference cannot come. So subjects are asked what comes to their mind when they think of a brand. So basically, you, me, Aditi, Akshita, all of these consumers are asked about a particular brand. What comes to their mind when they think about this brand? No more specific probe or cue than perhaps the associated product category. Okay. So nothing else is asked. Only a thing that is asked is what comes to your mind when they think about that brand. So if I ask you what comes to your mind when you think about Adidas, what comes to your mind when you think about Coke, what comes to your mind when you think about Samsung, what comes to your mind when you think about Apple? Okay. So used mainly to identify the range of possible brand association the consumer, and you're giving him a free to discuss or free to throw his ideas or free to give you feedback. You are not guiding him. Whatever comes to his mind, he will tell you. Okay. So answers help marketers clarify the range of possible associations and assembles a brand profile. Okay. So if I ask Priyanshu, what comes to your mind when you think about Apple? Priyanshu will tell me 10 things. Similarly, Akshita will tell me 10 things. Similarly, Urvi will possibly tell me 10 things. Okay, now I will, when I get all those 10 things from each one of you, I will try to clarify the range of possible association. These are the things that are associated with a particular brand. Okay, so that's free association. Then projective technique, diagnostics tools to uncover the true opinion and feeling of consumers when unwilling or otherwise unable to express themselves on these matters. Present consumers with ambiguous stimulus and ask them to make sense of it. Okay, what does it mean? That you are giving the consumer different stimulus. Different stimulus is something which provokes you. Okay, stimulus is something which provokes you to do some action. Okay, so when you are giving different choices of stimulus to a consumer. Okay, when you are give me some opinion about yourself when you actually get excited, when you get happy, when you get sad, when you get happiness, sadness, okay, angry. These are all stimulus, right? So I ask these questions to the consumer that what is your feeling when you are getting sad? What is your feeling when you see this brand? Which comes? Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? Do you feel happy? You give him the stimulus and then he has to answer. So then you can see that this brand's association is, and when somebody sees this brand, he's happy. So when somebody sees this brand, he's angry. Somebody sees this brand, he feels sad. Somebody sees this brand, he feels emotional. Correct. So these are all projective techniques.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you wait for 1 minute, just 1 minute?
Come again. Thank you.
So I'm coming in just 1 minute.
Sure. The Aditya is just joined. Yeah, don't worry. Come.
Sorry, sir, for the delay.
हाँ, क्या हो गया था? Technical issue क्या था? Because of technical issue. इसमें होता है technical issues.
सर वो थोड़ा join नहीं हो पा रहा था.
Sorry, sir. Actually, no one is at home. That's why.
Okay. Okay. So let me come back. So Aditya, I'll just go back once and just tell you what we were talking about here. So our topic of the day was measuring sources of brand equity. So brand equity मतलब हम लोग एक हफ्ते पहले पढ़े थे, right? Brand equity is basically the brand preference. Now, what is the source of brand preference? Why do consumers prefer a brand? So we need to capture that mindset of consumers. Okay. So now, when we talk about that, we have to answer a hell of a lot of laundry list of questions. Okay. Who buys our product? Who makes the decision to buy the product? Who influences? You remember, हम लोग ने बताया था there are different entities of buying: customer, consumer, shopper, influencer, purchaser, decision maker, etc., etc. So all those questions will are: why do customers buy a particular brand? Where do they go and look to buy the brand? When do they buy? Seasonality? What are the customers' attitude, etc., etc. Hazaro question पूछो, then you come to understand the consumer's behavior. Now there are different techniques to do it. Okay, now these are the 6 techniques that we use normally, to get a qualitative research techniques that we get qualitative feedback from consumers. Okay, so the first one is free association. Then projective techniques, judgment, metaphor, elicitation technique, neural research method, brand personality and value, ethnographic aspect. So we'll go one by one. So free association is basically what I do is I just simply throw a question to Aditya and Priyanshu and Akshita that what comes to your mind when you see Apple. And I leave it there. So whatever is in your heart, whatever is in your mind, you speak out. You speak out your heart. And I keep noting what are you speaking. So मैं जब 100-200-500 लोगों के पास ये feedback लिया, I get a range of possible associations. Because remember, we said that brand equity happens only when the brand's elements associate with your brain, with your memory. right? So I need to find out what are those elements that are associating with my with the consumer. So I get a range of possible associations. Okay, when I give you free, क्योंकि आपको मैं कोई guiding नहीं कर रहा हूँ, कोई कुछ क्यों नहीं दे रहा हूँ, आप अपने दिल से बोले जा रहे हो कि when I see Apple, I think about this, I think about that, I think about etc. When I see Adidas, when I see Levi, I think about this, and so on and so forth. Okay, then comes projective technique. You know, sometimes what happens, if I show a brand, I'll talk about a brand with Priyanshu is possibly not able to express what he or she feels. He doesn't have the word. He doesn't know how to express what he or she feels. So in those cases, what I do is I give Priyanshu cues. You know, I give Priyanshu choices of different stimuluses. Priyanshu, do you feel angry? Do you feel emotional? Do you feel happy? Do you feel this? Do you feel that? And Priyanshu chooses a few of them. Okay, and then I started associating it, and that makes sense. Correct. That was projective technique. Then comes completion and interpretation task, classic projective technique, use incomplete or ambiguous stimuli to elicit consumer thoughts. And so I give him a cue. Priyanshu, you possibly feel happy. What kind of happiness is that? And then Priyanshu opens up and says, yeah, I feel happy about it. I feel very hungry when I see a McDonald's. Okay. Or maybe you know, I feel when I see maybe a car or a bike, when I see a KTM bike, I really feel very sporty, or I feel very, you know, energized or adventurous or something like that. Then he starts speaking. I give him a cue and he starts speaking about it. And then comparison ask consumers to convey impressions by comparing brands to people, countries, animal activities, fabrics, occupations, or many other different things. So you say, how can you compare this brand to something else? You know, this brand is very rugged. It looks like an animal. Okay, this brand is very smooth like a fabric. Okay, this brand is, you know, it's so huge like a country. They are very emotional like people or something like that. It connects with something which is not a brand or a product. Okay, it connects with something which is a tangible object in front of it. Okay.
So like simile.
Like simile, exactly. Okay, it's something like a simile. Yes. So, and you start getting your cues from those projections. Okay. You are giving him one, either you give him a stimuli or you tell him to compare with something which yours, because projective technique is for somebody who cannot express himself. You know, I feel very, you know, aggressive. Okay, but he cannot say. Priyanshu is not able to express, I feel very aggressive. Priyanshu, can you compare it with something around you? I feel something like a, you know, a tiger or a lion. Okay, so he can then say that this is okay, fine. You know, you mean you feel very aggressive when you see this kind of product, or you feel very adventurous, or you feel very smooth, or you feel very, you know, I feel like it's an ice cream, a tasty cake, or something that's, you know, okay, it's something very tasty basically for Priyanshu. Okay, so I connect that object with the brand's elements, okay, or the brand's preferences that the brand associates with that person. Okay, Zachman metaphor elicitation technique, usually we say ZMT. Okay, uncovers hidden consumer knowledge, a technique of eliciting interconnected constructs that influences thoughts and behaviors. This is very, very interesting. Constructs refer to an abstraction created by a researcher to capture common ideas, concepts, or themes expressed by customers. Don't get into it. I'll show you very easily what it is. Okay, just a moment. ZET study starts with a group of participants asked in advance to think about the research topic, collect a set of images from their own sources that represent their thoughts and feelings about the research topic. Okay, brings images with them for a one-on-one interview. When interviews are complete, researchers identify key themes of constructs, code the data, and assembles a consensus map of the most important construct. And there it goes. Okay, so this is the ZMET to intimate apparel market. Okay, so application for ZMET. So what happens is these people, suppose there are 20 people who are called, and they are said that, can you do some research on apparel market? We are going to do some research on apparel market. Can you bring in some props or something written which can show us the apparel market. So basically some images or props which they will show or they will connect or they will associate with an apparel market. What in their mind, what they can associate with an apparel market. Okay, and then you tell them that yes, what is in your mind. Okay, and each one of them then say that expands, sexy, attracts to others, self-confidence, and so on and so forth. They give many things. Okay, and there are few which are called originator construct. Originator means वहीं से thought process originate होता है. Garment attributes, the qualities of the garment. Okay, obligatory wearing. Okay, so think about these words when you talk about garment attributes. It's expensive, sexy, attractive to others, self-confidence. Okay, obligatory wearing, emotional freedom, happy, elegant. These words come. These words get associated to that particular apparel. Okay, variety of design, project, self-image. Okay, physical imprison, quality of garments, physical comfort, physical imprisonment, physical control से वो आता है. Concerns, emotionally comfortable, anger. Sometimes physical comfort ठीक नहीं होता तो anger आप angry हो जाते हो. Correct. Then physical control, you feel thin if the apparel is good and it fits you very well, you suddenly start feeling thin about it. And these are all elements which associate with that particular apparel. Okay, so there is an originator. These are the originators: quality of the garment attributes, or obligatory wearing, variety of design. These are obligators. These are connectors. These connect each other. They go attractive to others. It connects to happy. Obligatory wearing का is connect करता है. Physical comfort, it connects to elegant. ठीक है. Elegant connects to project self-image. Variety of design also connects to project self-image. Okay. And destination construct. Finally, what you get out of it? You get these: aggravation, acceptance by others, emotional freedom, concern, emotional comfort, anger, and feel thin. These are all destination and coordinate. These are all destination construct. It's a science behind it. There will be words which are connectors. There will be words from where those thoughts originate, and there will be words which is your destination actually. Okay, these are all things which goes in your brains. सोच भी सकते हो आप. एक ब्रांड को जब देखते हो, एक प्रोडक्ट को देखते हो, एक ब्रांड को देखते हो, कैटेगरी को देखते हो, इतना कुछ आपके दिमाग में चलता है. So many things go in your brain. So what does a marketeer do? He or she tries to construct that thought process. And then from here, he gets his idea. What does that brand look like to my consumer? What is the brand association to my consumer? What is the brand equity preference? Why is the brand preferred by my consumer? So if I suppose say that jockey is a brand which I'm talking about, these are the things which comes to my mind in jockey. Then if I am a marketer, I will work on certain things. I will take a few words from here and work on this communication, work on these brands, salience, brand resonance, right? So that there is a loyalty which comes in the consumer's mind. I will possibly take it's emotionally comfortable. I will possibly take physical comfort. I will possibly take emotional freedom. I will possibly take happy. Possibly take self-image. Possibly take sexy, self-confidence. These are the words which will surround that brand name. Correct? Because these have all come from the consumers who had used that. So this whole map elicits what consumer thinks about it, how they are associated to them, how those elements are in the brain, in the memory of the consumer. Correct? And how are you doing it? You are basically simply what you are doing is asking the consumer to associate some images that they have got. Okay. Their feelings, thoughts, and feelings co-associate connectly some images that they have got. Bring your images with them for a one-on-one interview. So maybe you can bring a smiley, different kinds of smileys. Okay, maybe you can draw some pictures and bring it there. Okay, or whatever. And researchers, they identify the key themes of construct. So these are the key themes of construct actually. Keywords is the digital marketing में कभी-कभी keywords for a marketplace, key themes. Okay. Neural research, neuromarketing, study of how the brain responds to marketing stimuli, including brands. Okay, research indicates that consumers' buying decision is an unconscious habitual process. Some firms apply sophisticated techniques, EEG, electrocephalogram technology. EEG is a medical thing. ठीक है, जहां पर आपका ब्रेन का मैपिंग किया जाता है, आजकल नहीं होता, पहले होता था. एफएमआरआई, फंक्शनल मैग्नेटिक रेजोनेंस इमेजिंग, आपका ब्रेन का इमेज लिया जाता है डिफरेंट स्टिमुलाई पे. You know, something to make you angry, something to make you happy, something to make you emotional, something to make you sad, and so on and so forth. Different stimuli apply kiya jata hai, and they see, they map your brain, how is the brain reacting. Because when you actually do an EEG or an fMRI, आपका brain का सारे neurons जो छोटे-छोटे nerves है, वो कैसे react करते हैं, that can be mapped. Okay, and then they can see that which is giving the best or the most, you know, which stimuli is reacting most in you. Okay. If I talk about if I give you a brand name and I talk about that brand name in your ears, your brain actually reacts to some stimuli. Your brain becomes happy, your brain becomes sad, your brain becomes irritable, whatever. And so from there, they actually start gathering the information and start working on it. Okay. Brand personality, we have already learned about this. So there are the big 5 factors of brand personality: sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, ruggedness. And last week we read about it. We came to know about some of the brands which are rugged, which looks rugged. Okay, and we said that yes, some brands are sincere. Okay, so let me see which are they, just to remind ourselves. So brands are like human beings. Okay, brands have attributes like human beings. So they are either sincere, they show excitement, they have competence, sophistication, ruggedness, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me go and yep. So there are a few of them which you can see again. Just to remind you, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sincerity, down to earth, honest, wholesome, cheerful. So Disney, Amazon, Cadbury, these are brands which show sincerity. Okay, what kind of a personality? They are sincere. Excitement, Tesla, Red Bull, Coke, Nike. Competence, reliable, intelligent, and successful. Excitement is daring, spirited, imaginative, up to date. Okay. Competence, reliable, intelligent, and successful. So Volvo, Google, Microsoft, Intel, these are reliable, intelligent, and successful, of course. Sophistication, upper class, charming, for a sophisticated touch hair, Rolex, Gucci, Tiffany, Apple. Correct. Can you relate it? इनफैक्ट ये पेज में आप लोगों के लिए सेव करके रखा था, मैं बोला आप लोगों को दिखाऊंगा तो आप लोग थोड़ा सा रिलेटेड मोड इजीली. रगेडनेस, हार्ले डेविडसन, टिम्बरलैंड, जीप. मैं आपको लास्ट टाइम बता रहा था व्हाई आई बॉट अ जीप, रिमेंबर? ओके, मार्लबोरो, इवन अ बाइक लाइक केटीएम पॉसिबली. ठीक है, these are all those things called ruggedness. Okay, sometimes even you know some of these travel agents, you know, they sell products like, you know, adventurous tours. Okay, like going to possibly the savannas, or going to Kenya for you know your safaris, Kenyan safari, and then you say they look like rugged. Yeah, I want to go and see this Kenyan safari. And there are top brands and their personalities. So Apple, what does Apple say? Okay, so Apple is sophistication. Can you see this here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what does Nike?
Luxury.
Okay, so when you talk about sophistication, then what? So where does that come? So sophistication में एप्पल का नाम यहाँ पर तो है नहीं, लेकिन हाँ एप्पल का नाम है ना, right? Yes. So Nike, Tesla, Hallmark, Harley Davidson, Amazon, Red Bull, Tiffany, and so on and so forth. All of them are here. Okay, I just wanted you to relate to what I mean by personality. Okay. And that's when you identify those personalities, when you ask your consumers, you know, when you ask what do you feel about this brand? If I talk about these 5 personalities, what do you feel about this brand? And they will say, no, Apple is a very soft. Apple, I feel sophistication. अब मैं 100 लोगों को 1000 लोगों को पूछूंगा, उसमें से 800 लोग बोलेंगे Apple means sophistication. Okay, or Harley Davidson means ruggedness or something like this. Okay, and brand personality scale. So see, if you see that the factors sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, ruggedness, what does sincerity do? Down to earth, wholesome, honest, cheerful. Okay, similarly excitement. And when you talk about the traits associated with these particular facets, are down to earth, family oriented, small town. Okay, honest, sincere, real, you know, wholesome, original. They are original. They have associated one more word, original. Okay. Cheerful, sentimental, friendly. So each one of them, they have given it a facet: excitement, daring, imaginative, up to date, spirited, competence, reliable, successful, intelligent, sophisticated, charming, upper class, outdoor, see, and ruggedness is outdoorsy, tough. And then they have said, what does it mean? What is that trait actually? Correct. And how you can actually relate वो brand name के साथ relate कर. Now you think about all the other brands that you are associated. ठीक है. Let us talk about Navratna Tel, cool. हम लोग अमिताभ बच्चन को ऐड करते हुए देखते हैं. ठीक है. If I have to see the personality of that Navratna Tel, ठीक है. So what would I associate with? Let us see. It's down to earth, family oriented, small town. I think Navratna Tel, something somewhere, you know, it's a sincere brand, it's an honest brand, possibly. Excitement to hai nahi usme. Competence, not really. Sophistication, utna bhi nahi hai. ठीक है, ruggedness bhi nahi hai. Maybe you can talk about sincerity, right? In Navratna Tel. Talk about any other brand, maybe you can talk about a Samsung mobile phone. Okay. You can talk about sophistication here. Okay. Possibly you can, if you talk about OnePlus T mobile phone. Okay. So I would say it's a sincere, it's not a sincere, it's an excitement, daring, imaginary. It has the best camera, they say. Okay. And that's why they take the price. Possibly excitement is one thing which comes to my mind with OnePlus T. Okay. Ruggedness ka to, of course, there are plenty of examples of ruggedness. Okay. Ethnographic and experiential method. Ethnographic method is basically researchers are tapping more directly into consumers' actual home, work, or shopping behavior. This may help elicit more meaningful responses. Ethnographic research use thick description based on particular observation. So ethnographic is basically observation. So what I do is, from morning to evening, I keep observing what Aditi is doing. And on the basis of that, okay, I extract and interpret the deep cultural meaning of events and activities. Okay, so if suppose if Aditi owns a car, Aditi owns possibly a good car like BMW. Just hypothetically. Okay, I keep observing what does Aditi do with the car. I don't even let Aditi know that I am observing. मैं दूर से आपको खाली observe करता हूँ. Aditi does a lot of things when she gets into the car. Possibly थोड़ा सा भी उसको धूल लगेगा तो Aditi उसको wipe करती है. Aditi gets into the car, थोड़ा सा भगवान को प्रणाम करती है. Whatever. She does something or the other. And from that, I can interpret her the cultural meaning of that events and activities that she does. And these are all experimental methods. You can interpret, if you continuously follow Aditi, you will interpret a lot of things, what your behavior shows about a particular brand or about a particular product. When Aditi goes to a boutique to buy some apparels for herself, she shows some behavior. I will just keep observing what Aditi does. That's ethnographics. Quantitative research method, brand awareness, brand image, and other approaches. So related to the strength of the brand in the memory reflected by consumers, ability to identify various brand elements. So what I do is, how strongly the brand is associated in your memory, is embedded in your memory. I'm going to find that. That creates the brand awareness. Right? The brand awareness means what? Brand knowledge, brand preference, associating the brand's elements with you, yourself. That's brand awareness. More to do with the knowledge of the brand. And where does the knowledge get stored? In your memory. The stronger the brand memory is, the stronger those nodes are with those memories, it has more awareness. And that brand awareness, the more you have brand awareness, जितना knowledge आपके पास brand का है, the more you will have brand equity. The more you can associate with the brand. The brand elements is associated. They satisfy your needs and wants. Okay, they have a meaning for your needs and wants. Correct. Describes the likelihood that a brand will come to mind in different situations, recognition, recall, correlation for guessing, and strategic implications. Okay. So, jitna brand awareness hoga, it will keep coming back. Okay, you will recognize a brand very fast. You will recall a brand very fast. You can correction for guessing. If you have to guess something, that memory will help you to guess it right. Okay. Strategic implication. It has strategic implication आपके decision making में. Whether you're going to, because you're aware of the brand, you're well aware of the brand, you have a huge knowledge, so it will have a strategic implication on your decision making. Okay, whether you're going to buy the brand, whether you're going to like the brand, and so on and so forth. Okay. Brand image, we know what brand image is, association that consumers hold for a brand. Okay, useful for marketers to make a distinction between lower level consideration, performance, and imagery. Higher level consideration, judgment, and feeling. So you remember, we spoke about that brand resonance. We said brand salience, then we said judgments and feelings, then we said performance and imagery, and finally we said loyalty. Remember that side? So pyramid. Okay, so that's where the brand's image is formed. Okay, beliefs, descriptive thoughts that a person holds about something. Those are beliefs. I believe Apple is a great innovative brand. I believe that Nike is one of the best sports shoes. I believe that Pepsi is not good for health. Okay, those are beliefs. Okay, and possibly those beliefs also have an association in your brain to make that brand's image. No, I don't want to have Pepsi. It doesn't have. It's not good for health. It's not always positive. Oh wow, qualities. Ice creams are best ice creams. It's a belief. The most tasteful ice creams possible. It's a belief you have, and you have created an image of that. I have a very soft corner for one of the ice creams of quality. What is that called? One of my best ice creams actually. The bars which come. I did it. So I have a belief that that's the best, chocolate bars that's there in the ice cream market, and that created an image. मैं जब भी market जाता हूँ ice cream खाने में, even the best of the Baskin Robbins and all, मुझे वो ice cream better लगता है, something like that. Okay. Other approaches, more complicated quantitative techniques to assess overall brand uniqueness, multi-dimensional scaling, MDS or perceptual map, procedures for determining the perceived relative images of a set of objects such as product or brand, transforms consumer judgment of similarity of a preference into distances represented in perceptual. I will show you what it is. So basically, this is a hypothetical restaurant perceptual map. This is what a perceptual map looks like. So you put your, attributes. Suppose for this particular restaurant, you put less healthy, healthy, and flavorful, and less flavorful. And then you go to the consumers and you ask them that if this restaurant, what is the perception that she or he has about this particular restaurant? So they will keep saying this, that, and you keep marking them on this map. Okay. So brands A, B, C. So C is absolutely on the left side, less healthy. Okay, more flavorful but less healthy. Okay, ideal point is somewhere here. Brand A and B, A is actually a little flavorful, B is less flavorful. Both of them are on the healthier side. Okay, and this one ideal point is 0.1 and 0.2. They should have been here. Okay, this is called a perceptual map, depending on the consumer's feedback, how you perceive. And if you need to up your brand B, you need to come here towards A, not fully on A. A has to come a little low and on the little right side at the 0.1. Similarly, C has to actually come down towards this more healthy. Number 2, less possibly flavorful. This is not very ideal, but this one is of course a very ideal case because both of them are positive. Okay, so perceptual match is something which is done in a very, very scientific manner. यहाँ पर तो सिर्फ 3 पॉइंट लेके कर रहे हैं, but they do a much more, बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स लेके करते हैं, ठीक है, बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट लेके करते हैं. So you can see that कि अगर मैं A हूँ, if I am A, what do I need to improve? If I am C, what do I need to improve? If I am B, what do I need to improve? Perceptual match tells you that. Okay. Social media listening. So we have spoken about this also. Social media monitoring, fast growing and increasingly specialized area of content market. So social media monitoring is something that all across the world, in the social media, there is so much of feedback, so much of comments, so much of sharing, liking, everything. So you need to continuously monitor that to find what is happening with your brand. Whoever is talking positive about your brand, whoever is talking negative about your brand, whoever is talking neutral about it. These 3 parameters, the social media listening tools जो है, there are a lot of software which track the whole social media across the websites. Okay, आपका Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Quora, जो भी है, सारे जो इंटरनेट में बातचीत चल रहा है आपके ब्रांड में, सारे को मॉनिटर करके every day they give you a dashboard which talks about your positive feedback, negative feedback, neutral feedback, and from there you get the statistics associated with your brand. They may include number of engagements of the brand across various social media. पर कितने लोगों ने आपके बारे में बोला, sentiments associated with the social media messages, positive sentiments, negative sentiments, neutral sentiments, topics that are related to a brand. ठीक है, आपके ब्रांड के बारे में कौन-कौन सी टॉपिक में बात की जा रही है, list of keywords that are associated with the brand. Lot of things coming with social media listening and monitoring. ठीक है. Brand responses, purchase intentions, likelihood to recommend. So there are 2 major responses: purchase intentions and likelihood to recommend. So brand relationships characterized in terms of brand resonance and measures for following dimensions: behavior, loyalty, attitude, attachment, sense of community, activity. ये सारी चीज हम लोग पहले ही पढ़े. Brand relationships, basically active engagement, particularly आप उस ब्रांड के साथ कितना शेयर कर रहे हो, कमेंट कर रहे हो, फीडबैक दे रहे हो, ठीक है. And then when you buy that brand, when you're using that brand, you have a sense of community. That I am using Apple, I have bought an Apple, so all people who use Apple, I'm a part of them. You have a sense of, I buy a KTM bike, so I am a part of all the people, all the community where people use KTM bikes. I buy a Royal Enfield bike, I am part of that Royal Enfield community. I buy a Harley Davidson bike, I am a part of that Harley Davidson community. Okay. Attitude and attachment. So I have a strong affinity towards that particular brand. That's my attitude. I feel, my ego gets boosted if I use that particular brand. But that's my attitude. And from all this comes your loyalty, right? With that brand characterized in the terms of brand resonance. Remember, brand resonance was all about loyalty and measures for the following key dimensions. So brand resonance is a measure of loyalty. आपका product brand का कितना loyalty है. ठीक है. So behavioral loyalty is the ultimate one. So engagement, sense of community, attitudinal attachment, and loyalty. Okay. Brand relationship, behavioral loyalty, attitudinal, we got it. Attitudinal. Fornia's brand relationship research, छोड़ो इसको, comprehensive model of consumer brand equity. Okay, bonding, advantage, performance, relevance, and presence. Okay. You just CBE model, brand dynamics, itna closely mat dekho. What is more important is how well you are bonded to your brand. What is the advantage that you're getting from the brand? What is the brand performance mean to you? Okay, what is that relevance of the brand to the consumer? Okay, and finally the presence. How widely is present across the consumer? Yeah. Whoever, suppose I'm talking about Apple. Okay, as a Apple phones, iPhones as a brand. Okay, what is the presence of iPhone in the whole community? Is it deep? Is it wide? Suppose if I talk about आज के दिन में तो competition इतना ज़्यादा हो गया, presence is becoming diluted. Once upon a time, possibly, if you spoke about a scooter, people would talk about, Bajaj Chetak. And it was the scooter of the presence of Bajaj Chetak was all across. Anybody who had a two-wheeler, out of that 90% people would have Bajaj Chetak. Correct. या तो moving forward, whenever people started buying, automatic gear scooters, Honda Activa was all across. The presence was all across, right? Okay. Relationship to the CBE model, 5 sequences staged in big brand rounds, brand dynamic model before, forget it. Okay. Summary of qualitative and quantitative measures. So we have studied about these: free association, rating and checklist, projective techniques. Okay. Storytelling, bubble drawing, personification exercise, role playing, experiential methods. So different kinds of different ways you start measuring the consumer behavior towards a particular brand. Okay, so few of them we discuss is free association, projective technique, and personification exercise and experiential method. There are plenty of more, like storytelling. You are asked to tell a story about a brand. Okay. So if I ask Aditi. Okay, yeah, Aditi, what shoes do you wear? Okay, or maybe what watch do you wear? So I wear a Titan. Can you tell me a story about your watch? And we just keep observing what Aditi has to say. If she's very emotionally attached to that watch, she will talk a lot of emotions there. If she's very excited about it, she will speak out excitement in her story. If she's very sad about it because it is not the watch which she wanted, then she will talk sad things about. She'll say a sad story about it, right? And so on and so forth. Photo shots. Okay, show you photos, 20 photos, one after the other, and you recognize what brand is. Okay, what does that brand say? Okay. Quantitative research, we have spoken about brand awareness, directed measure of brand recognition, measures of brand recall. Brand image, open-ended scale measures, etc., strength, favorability, and uniqueness. And finally, overall judgment and feeling, overall relationship measures, intensity, and activity. That comes from that brand resonance, brand salience to brand resonance chapter. Okay. Okay, so 4 pillars assess brand health, development, and momentum. Forget it. Not much of important. Brand equity pillars, like brand ka equity ya measure karte hain. These are the 4 things that happens. Okay, so one is the differentiation, brand strength, the differentiation, and the relevance. How relevant is the brand to the consumer? Okay, and brand stature. Stature means brand ka image overall. Okay, esteem. How prestigious is the brand, and how much knowledge do you have about it? So unique meaning, uniqueness. That's the first thing. Appropriateness, regard and respect for the brand, and finally understanding about the brand, the knowledge about the brand, the awareness about it. Okay. And relates to margins, loyalty, culture and currency, relates to market penetration. If it's an appropriate brand, it will penetrate more, the presence will be more, right? Relates to perception of the quality and respect. Okay, so it will have an esteem or a regard if the consumers have a great respect and feel that the quality is really good. Okay. And finally, knowledge leads to consumers' experience. How much knowledge you have tells about the consumer's experience. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. So that was all about how to capture the mindset of the consumers. Okay. So any questions in this? Let's take a 10 minutes break after this. Any questions? Brand management is more about creating the brand and measuring. You know, if you need to have a brand management time base, आज भी वो brand जितना important है 20 साल 25 साल 50 साल के बाद भी उस brand का equity उतना ही रहेगा. If you want to keep it that way, then you have to continuously, what you need to do is evaluate the brand. You have to continuously understand what does consumers feel about the brand. How does consumer associate with the brand? And if you feel that the no, consumers association is going down, then how do I bring it up? That's the way these brands continue to be great brands. Aj, think about, I will tell you a great example is our Royal Enfield motorbikes. Once upon a time, this motorbike had a huge name in this country. And then at one point of time, they lost the market because all the Japanese companies came. Honda and Yamaha and Suzuki and so on and so forth. It actually went down the road. People were not buying bullets anymore. They did not have any craze. From there, bringing that brand back to the market and making it a market leader. Today, out of 10 motorbikes on the street, you will have at least 2 to 3 Royals. That is what, getting back the brand into the minds of the consumer. And that's how you do it, by evaluating the brand equity, brand image, brand awareness, okay, and then working on it. इसी के लिए सारे measurements काम पे है. इतने भी आपको ना अभी all those analysis, all those qualitative research, all those quantitative research सारे काम पे, and the different methods that we do. Okay, चलो, go and take a 10 minutes break and come back at 8 o'clock. Are you guys back?
Yes, sir.
No, I thought you
Yes,
were.
sir.
Okay, chalo. Let's start the next one. Okay, so we are now going to discuss. We have understood how to capture the mindset of a consumer regarding the brand preference or the brand equity. To understand the brand equity in the mind of the consumer. Now we are going to talk about designing and implementing brand architecture strategy. Okay, so little complicated, but it will be interesting. Let me tell you. Okay, developing a brand architecture strategy. Brand architecture strategy helps marketers determine which product and service to introduce. Okay. I think in one of the classes beginning में हम लोग कोई भी क्लास कर रहे थे, अदिति ने शायद आपने ही पूछा होगा कि सर हम लोग कैसे डिसाइड करते हैं ब्रांड कैसे बनेगा, वो ब्रांड नेम कैसे आएगा, या कौन सा ब्रांड हमें आपको बेचना है. So we are going to understand that now. Okay, which brand names, logos, symbols, etc. to apply new and existing product. Okay, so हम लोग एक बिजनेस में तो उतर गए. I want to sell samosas. Okay, packed samosas. तो पैक समोसा क्यों मैं सोच रहा हूँ, why should I get into pack samosa market, what should be the brand name, what should be the logo, what should be the symbol, what should be the font, color, picture, image, whatever. I should first understand that, then I need to get into that product, right? Then I need to make it a brand, right? That strategy we're going to discuss today. So developing a brand strategy, the first step is defining the brand potential. आप समोसा तो बेचोगे वाराणसी, उसका प्रोडक्ट का कितना पोटेंशियल, हर मोहल्ले के हर कोने पे एक समोसे वाला है. Does it have a potential of, does that product have a potential? और नहीं तो उसको पोटेंशियल बनाने के लिए मुझे क्या करना है, ठीक है,
USP.
यूएसपी बोलो या व्हाटएवर. अगर दिस प्रोडक्ट समोसा इज अ हाउसहोल्ड प्रोडक्ट, हर घर पे बनता है, ठीक है, उसको अगर ब्रांड बनाना है, ब्रांड का पोटेंशियल तो है, लोग खाते हैं, लेकिन what will I add into that product that people leave making it at home and start buying it in a package form? ब्रांड तो पैकेज प्रोडक्ट का ही बनता है ना, अनपैकेज प्रोडक्ट का तो बनेगा नहीं, ठीक है. सो मुझे उस पैकेज प्रोडक्ट के लिए ऐसा तो कुछ करना है कि समोसा हर घर में बनता है, फिर भी लोग आकर खरीदेंगे, खाएंगे. आज थिंक अबाउट पिकल्स, अचार हर घर पे बनता था, आज धीरे धीरे पैकेज पिकल आ गया, घर में पिकल्स बनना बंद हो गया. समथिंग दैट दीस पीपल मस्ट हैव डन. Correct. So what did they do? Identifying brand extensions and opportunity. मैंने ब्रांड बनाया, उसके बाद उस ब्रांड को एक्सटेंशन क्या करूंगा. मैगी बनाया था मैं आज से 36 साल पहले, उसके बाद उसको एक्सटेंड किया मैगी सॉस में, फिर मैगी क्यूब्स में, फिर मैगी सूप्स में, फिर एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. क्यों करता हूँ? Why do I do it? How do I do it? Branding new products and services. How do I brand a new product or a service? Okay. 3 important characteristics: brand vision, brand vision, brand position. Identify the brand extension opportunities. Okay. Brand extension is a new product introduced under an existing brand. Line extension, new product introduction within the existing category. Category extension, new product introduction outside the existing category. What does that mean? Maggi noodles मसाला आया था, उसी नूडल्स के अंदर में मैंने और 4 नूडल्स बना दिए. मैगी नूडल्स चिकन, मैगी नूडल्स स्वीट सावर, मैगी नूडल्स चाइनीज, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. दैट इज लाइन एक्सटेंशन, ठीक है. देन कैटेगरी एक्सटेंशन, कि चलो मेरा फूड प्रोडक्ट है, नूडल्स इज अ फूड प्रोडक्ट, कैन आई हैव सम अदर फूड प्रोडक्ट व्हिच इज नॉट अ नूडल्स. सो मैंने सूप निकाल दिया, क्यूब्स निकाल दिया, सॉसेस निकाल दिया, एक्सेट्रा। ठीक है, सो कैटेगरी एक्सटेंशन हो गया। कैटेगरीज ऑफ फूड, राइट? नूडल्स इज अ कैटेगरी, सॉसेस इज अ कैटेगरी, सूप्स इज अ कैटेगरी। करेक्ट। मैं पेप्सी कोला लाया था, which was a carbonated drink. उसके साथ मैंने लाइन एक्सटेंशन किया बाकी जो कोला ड्रिंक्स के साथ जो अपना 7 अप एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा जो भी आया. Then I said no, I want to have a fruit ये drink. So I got Minute Maid. Coke Minute Maid लेके आया. And these people got mango fruit drink, right? So that's a different category, different line extension. It's a beverage, a different line extension. Now PepsiCo ने food में क्या लेके आ गया? They got chips. So that's a category extension. Possibly the name is different. Lays में chips लेके आ गए, Lays में different nachos वगैरह जो भी होगा लेके आ गए. ठीक है, Lays is a brand. Lays का अगर different chips का brand था, उसको category extension किया, different other food products लेके आया उस category. ठीक है. Equity implication of each extension needs to be understood in the terms of point of parity and point of difference. ठीक है, मैं हर एक प्रोडक्ट को एक्सटेंड करते जा रहा हूँ, मेरा कैटेगरी, मेरा ब्रांड एक्सटेंशन करते जा रहा हूँ. इज देयर अ पॉइंट ऑफ पैरिटी? कुछ कॉमनैलिटी है उसमें? यस, मैगी, नूडल्स, सॉस, क्यूब, सूप्स, इसमें कॉमनैलिटी, देयर आर फूड प्रोडक्ट्स. देन व्हाट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस? जब पॉइंट ऑफ पैरिटी आ गया, दैट मींस आई नो दैट दे कम अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ फूड. And then there must be a point of difference also. So what is the difference? Noodles is a snacking food. Okay, soup is a snacking food possibly, however in a liquid form. Sauces is a food, but is a condiment sort of. And cubes are flavor agents. All of them are foods, but they are different. All of them are foods, that's the point of parity. However, they are different. Correct. Specifying branding new elements for branding new products and services. New products and services must be branded in a way to maximize the brand's overall clarity. Brand house strategy, umbrella, corporate or family brand for all its products. So Nestle is the corporate brand, umbrella corporate. उसके अंदर में Maggi है, Nescafe is a brand, Maggi is a brand, Everyday is a brand, Milkmaid is a brand, different brands. So umbrella.
So there's a question.
Yes, bolo.
Sorry for the interruption. So I don't remember back at our class 12th or something. We used to study pricing जब marketing mix पढ़ाते थे. तो उसमें there was skim the cream pricing वाला strategy and all. उसके just पहले हम branding पढ़ रहे होते थे. And there was this example given what is that company? Godrej. है ना? So जो आप conglomerate हम लोग को पढ़ा रहे थे, Tata and everything. तो मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आता बेसिक डिफरेंस. जैसे कि ब्रिटानिया खुद भी अपना प्रोड्यूस करता है, तो इट्स ब्रिटानिया केक्स, ब्रिटानिया बिस्किट्स, वो ब्रिटानिया हर जगह लिखा होता है. बट इट्स नॉट द सेम केस विद आईटीसी. सनफीस्ट अलग प्रोडक्ट आता है, वो अलग. तो इसलिए ब्रांडिंग जो नेमिंग होती है, अलग टाइप्स ऑफ ब्रांडिंग है, कैसे करते हैं?
So there comes branding. That's what an umbrella brand. ITC में भी आता है, ITC Sunfeast, ITC आशीर्वाद आटा. So the umbrella branding remains umbrella branding. ठीक है. Now why? हाँ बोलो.
लाइक अलग अलग टाइप का भी होता है क्या सर? लाइक बहुत सारी कंपनी अम्ब्रेला ब्रांडिंग शायद नहीं करती हैं, वो अपने हर प्रोडक्ट का नाम अलग रखती
नहीं करती. श्योर नहीं करती. एवरीबॉडी डजंट डू अम्ब्रेला ब्रांड. नेस्ले डज अम्ब्रेला ब्रांड. यूनिलीवर्स डजंट डू अम्ब्रेला ब्रांडिंग. ठीक है. यूनिलीवर्स का सर्फ एक्सेल डजंट हैव यूनिलीवर सर्फ एक्सेल. Okay, Nestle also doesn't actually do umbrella branding for all of them. Nestle, Maggi. Nestle बहुत छोटा रहता है, लेकिन Maggi is the main brand. Nescafe is the main brand. ठीक है. लेकिन yes, there is always an umbrella brand behind it. Nestle, ITC, Godrej, सबका एक umbrella brand तो है. The company corporate's name is itself an umbrella brand, right? Now, umbrella brand will be the primary brand or the secondary brand. That depends on how you use it. So, ITC ने अपने foods में ITC के brands रखे हैं. ITC रखे. Britannia has kept it across. Okay, क्योंकि ब्रिटानिया द ओवरऑल कंपनी इज अ फूड कंपनी. वो डेयरी होगा या जो भी होगा, जैसे नेस्ले ओवरऑल कंपनी इज अ फूड कंपनी. सो नेस्ले, मैगी, नेस्ले, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। इवन नेस्ले का टीवी में ऐड दिखते हो तो ऐड आ जाता है, उसके बाद एक छोटा सा फोल्ड आता है, नीचे नेस्ले लिखा है। करेक्ट। यूनिलीवर का भी ऐड आता है, तो लास्ट में जब ऐड हो जाता है तो एक यूनिलीवर का लोगो आ जाता है। Correct. That's why the umbrella branding starts. Okay. However, there are plenty of companies who do not believe in umbrella branding. They believe in individual branding. Okay. And
so there's a
yeah, and there is another thing. One is branded house strategy. That is the corporate branding के अंदर में, जैसे Nestle, ITC, Weavers, Godrej, P&G, corporate branding, corporate umbrella brand के नीचे बाकी सारे, और एक house of brand strategy, collection of individual brands all with different names. So that's what you are talking about. Some companies have individual brands. Pepsi, Lay's is not Pepsi Lay's, right? It has individual brands. Correct. So if you talk about, suppose PepsiCo, or maybe you talk about Yum Foods, is a PepsiCo company. They have all these Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and so on and so forth. Each one of them are different companies, different brands. Taco Bell is a different brand, Pizza Hut is a different brand, KFC is a different, all come under PepsiCo. All come under PepsiCo's Yum Food, Pepsi's Yum Food. Abhi to they have got separated. Yum Food is no more under Pepsi, but Yum Food as a brand is there. That's the umbrella brand. Yes. लेकिन वो लोग नहीं बोलते कि Yum Pizza Hut, Yum KFC, ऐसा नहीं बोलते. ठीक है. So what they say is just KFC as a brand. So that's a collection of individual brands. That's a house of brands. Yum Foods, बाहर वाले जानेंगे भी नहीं कि भैया वो PepsiCo था. Pizza Hut belongs to Yum Foods, KFC belongs to Yum Foods, जानते भी नहीं. ठीक है. However, it belongs to that. So they are a collection of house of brands, different brands, a collection of individual brands. Okay, correct? Got it? Understood? Priyanshu? Okay. Sub brands, brand extension in which the new product carries both the parent brand name and the new brand name, new name. Okay, so something like, okay, suppose, if I talk about good night, ठीक है, good night के जो ये आता, ठीक है, I think good night has a lot of sub brands. Let me just check. Good night will not be a good year. Okay, fine. Good night. Let me talk about even Pepsi beverage. ठीक है, what do they have? They have Pepsi, which writes only Pepsi in there. They don't write Pepsi Cola, right? It's a Pepsi. Correct. Or talk about Coke, Coca-Cola. Okay, what is their mango drink? Maaza. Right?
Slice as well, no?
Huh?
Slice as well, no?
Sorry. Slice, PepsiCo ka Maaza. Right? So different brands. Their beverages. Fruity to Fruity ka hai, Parle ka.
Parle Agro.
Okay. Then 7-Up. Okay. These are all different brand names under that brand called Pepsi or Coke. Right? So there are sub brands under that. Okay. Or maybe I can take an example of Nescafe and Nescafe Sunrise. So Nescafe pure instant coffee, 100% pure instant coffee. Nescafe classic usko bolte hain. And Nescafe Sunrise. Nescafe Sunrise is a blended coffee. Correct? Got it?
So there's a Nescafe ka red as well, na? जो इंडिया में नहीं मिलता है.
वही same. Classic is the same thing. उसके साथ एक एक कप आता था red वाला, इसलिए they say red. Nescafe red.
I know. So there was this person who went to Dubai lately, and the entire jar of the Nescafe है ना, उसका वो brown ढक्कन वाला coffee है ही नहीं. It's a red one.
It's a new packaging. The product remains Nescafe. Nescafe के बहुत सारे हैं. Nescafe Classic, Nescafe Sunrise, Nescafe Gold. Okay, so Gold itself is a sub brand. Okay, Nescafe is the main brand, and then Gold itself is a sub brand. ठीक है, जैसे कि suppose if you talk about Lipton tea, ठीक है, there are so many Lipton teas, right? Lipton Taja, what are the, I even forget that. Let us find out what are they, so we understand better.
Sir, isn't it that umbrella branding is better than normal wala?
What is that normal wala?
The sub brands branding, different brands.
Yes, umbrella branding always is good if you are a great brand. If you are a Levers or you are a Nestle or you are a Paint. If you are not that, लोग तो umbrella को ही नहीं जानते हैं, ठीक है, corporate brand को ही नहीं जानते हैं या company brand को ही नहीं जानते. Suppose Ramdev masale, it gives a good impression. Ramdev masale, ठीक है, या suppose Goldie masale, ठीक है. They would like to build their corporate brand ना, इसीलिए गोल्डी मसाले के अंडर में कुछ ब्रांड निकालेंगे तो ठीक है, धीरे धीरे कॉर्पोरेट ब्रांड बना रहे हैं, ठीक है. देयर इट वोंट वर्क कि आप डिफरेंट ब्रांड बना दिए सेम कंपनी से आ रहा है, इट वोंट वर्क. बट इफ यू आर अ स्ट्रांग इंडिविजुअल ब्रांड लाइक Lay's, like Strice, like Masa, then you can make that, ठीक है. Masa doesn't come under Pepsi Masa, right? Masa is an individual Masa, ठीक है. It's a beverage under individual Masa, right? So if you talk about, suppose, Kingfisher as a beer brand, Kingfisher के अंदर में Kingfisher Ultra, Kingfisher this, Kingfisher that, Kingfisher that, ठीक है. That's an umbrella brand Kingfisher, उसके नीचे चार. लेकिन individual brand तभी बड़ा बनता है जब Ultra is not a very strong brand, उसको Kingfisher का नाम से ही चलना पड़े. But Nescafe at the same time is a very strong one. Nescafe itself can, but people know Nescafe from Nestle, and Nestle wants to believe that umbrella brand works well. That's why Nestle puts Nestle.
So is the same case with Tata as well?
Yeah, Tata के भी वैसे ही है. You talk about Tata, let us see what Tata has. Tata food brands, let us see.
So sir, these are the sub brands of Tata.
Let us see what comes. I'm putting it on the net. So let's see what comes. Okay, so that's interesting. See what comes in Tata. The crap. Tata Sampann, then Tata Q, then Tata Gold, Tata Tea, Tata Tetley, Tata Salt, सारे में umbrella brand. ठीक है, umbrella brand कौन सा है? टाटा है. टेटली में नहीं है, ठीक है, और किसमें नहीं है. और
So the first time I'm listening, देख रही हूँ Tetley is also a brand of Tata.
Tetley is a major brand. It's an exported brand. Tetley tea are basically the tea bags. सारा दुनिया में मिलता है ये. 8 o'clock is a brand. Himalaya is a brand. Starbucks is a. These are all Tata Tea, Tata Sampann are under the umbrella brand Tata. The rest of them are not under the umbrella brand. ठीक है. Let us talk about others. Tata Soulful को भी बना दिया, Tata Coffee को भी बना दिया, Tata Copper Water बना दिया, Tetley. Tetley is not under the umbrella brand. ठीक है. Okay. T-Pigs, Good Earth, Sonnets. कितने ब्रांड्स हैं देखो. Vitex, Tata Crew, Tata Fusky. Have you ever heard about these names?
I haven't even heard.
Okay. ITC is called a conglomerate company. Why? Tata is called a conglomerate company. Why? Because why? Bolo.
Because
ITC
it has
diversified businesses: food, hotel, apparels. Okay.
Stationaries.
Yes. So what are the brands they have? Let us go to brands.
बिंगो भी आईटीसी का है?
Okay, now see. So ITC Ashirwad, ITC Ashirwad. What is this? Ashirwad Swasti Mango Lassi. Okay. Now what is this Sunfeast All Round? Does it say ITC anywhere? No, it doesn't say ITC anywhere. It's Sunfeast. You were right. Okay. Sunfeast biscuits, etc. Bingo. Does it say ITC Bingo? It has a small ITC side, but Bingo is the main brand. It's not under the umbrella brand of ITC. You can't say it's its umbrella brand is ITC. Of course, ITC is here to give the corporate identity to the Kitchens of India. It's a brand. ये पता है मुझे बहुत दिन के बाद मालूम चला Kitchens of India actually ITC का है. When I started consulting with them. Okay. Sunfeast EP यहाँ पर कहीं ITC दिख रहा है? नहीं दिख रहा है. Okay. So ITC also, but when it comes to Be Natural, they almost okay. It doesn't have an ITC. It's a small little ITC on the packaging, but not major. At the same time, if you see Nestle, let's see Nestle. Okay. Okay. So Nescafe Gold, Nestle, Nescafe. Actually, they don't talk about Nestle's. देखा आपने कहीं भी नहीं है Nestle's.
But then sir, its name itself swings the Ness, right?
Fine, no problem. But here, Nest Plus, it's Nestle's Nest Plus. Okay, Munch, it doesn't say, yeah, it says Nestle Munch, Nestle Kit Kat, Nestle. Okay, Nestle Milkmaid, Nestle Good Tea. Nestle believes in umbrella branding very, very high. Maggie, they don't say Nestle. Okay, Maggie, they do not say Nestle. Then when they talk about infant nutrition, they're all Nestle. Okay. Okay, so that's it. That's it. So now you understand what is an umbrella branding and what is house of brands. Correct? So there are plenty of companies. Let's see Godrej. Okay. Good night. Synthol. Hey, me too. I think none of them have design innovation.
So Godrej was initially into the furniture brand, no?
Huh? Godrej?
Was initially a furniture brand, no?
Is it what brand?
Furniture बनाने
Furniture?
वाला.
No. Godrej was always a, I mean, they were into consumers, they were into furnitures, they were into Godrej interior की बात कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है? So that's another product. They are into many things. Godrej is mostly into properties, furnitures, consumer food, consumer not so mostly consumer fast moving consumer brands. Okay, so let's see whether they have. So they have purchased a brand called Nutrient. Okay, just a second. Okay, so Godrej hair colors. Okay, so it's not there. It's not a Godrej. Darling. So many brands they put. It has a house of brands also. So these are all exported brands. Simple. So I don't think Simple में भी कहीं पर क्या mention Godrej. हाँ है, छोटा सा है. They are Godrej, but Simple is much bigger. Godrej जैसे ITC छोटा सा mention करके रखा था, just to say that this belongs to ये Godrej Simple. Okay, so इसमें actually house of brands नहीं है, it's a umbrella brands Godrej company, Godrej Simple.
तो पहले टाटा और गोदरेज मतलब एक ही थे ना?
Tata is always a different. Both are Parsi guys, both are different. So,
Sir,
so
so this is a very political question because I ended up in a debate with my family. So I was like, Ambani always is upper in the ranking when you see. And मतलब टाटा जितनी भी चैरिटी करती है, but sir, टाटा मोटर्स, टाटा स्टील, टाटा खाना, स्टारबक्स और जो भी होता है और क्या, ताजमहल पैलेस, एवरीथिंग. तो इज इट अबाउट कि इसके शेयर्स जो होते हैं वो टाटा के कम है मार्केट में इन कंपेयर, लाइक अंबानी इज अ सिंगल ओनर, राइट? एंड टाटा लाइक हैज अ डिफरेंट मतलब ओनरशिप वाला कुछ ऐसा है क्या?
ऐसा नहीं. The thing is that Ratan Tata is a person who जैसे अंबानी है, सबसे रतन टाटा है. They are the Tata group. ठीक है, जमशेदजी नसरुल्लाह टाटा उनके पहले, उनके बाद JRD टाटा, उनके बाद जमशेदजी नसरुल्लाह टाटा, उसके बाद then this generation. Okay, बीच में दादा भाई नारोजी टाटा and then Ratan Tata. Okay, so this is the clan of Tatas. So they own all the Tatas. Now their money, their profitability. Okay, one is that the shares that are there in the market. The other one is they hold a Tata trust. Okay, so Ambani's का जैसा पूरा पैसा market capital में सबके पास shares है, ठीक है, and that's why the share valuation के ऊपर में Ambani का valuation करता है. Tata also has shares, okay, लेकिन Tata का major share है Tata trust के पास, ठीक है. इसीलिए टाटा, आप अगर बोलते हो कि सर अंबानी बड़ा है कि टाटा बड़ा है, ठीक है, आई थिंक देखो बड़ा है डिपेंड्स ऑन द मार्केट कैपिटल. मार्केट का जितना शेयर्स है उसका वैल्यूज क्या, उसको अगर टोटल करोगे दैट टॉक्स अबाउट द मार्केट कैपिटल. तो जैसे अंबानी इज एक्चुअली बिगर देन टाटा दैट वे, ठीक है. दे हैव पेट्रोलियम, दे हैव मेनी अदर बिजनेस, ओके, ऑप्टिकल फाइबर्स, जियो बिजनेस एंड सो ऑन. टाटा भी डोकोमो है, लेकिन टाटा डोकोमो कुड नॉट do so well. So they are also conglomerate. Tata is also conglomerate. Only thing is that Tata is more respectable conglomerate. If somebody gives me a job in Tata and somebody tells me that you also have a job offer in Reliance, I would always prefer to go to Tata. Their equity is much higher. Brand equity is much higher in the market.
You know, sir, there was a very inspirational statement that Ratan Tata said, or Jamshedji Tata, I'm not sure. Someone said that from the Tata family कि मेरा बेटा मेरा उत्तराधिकारी नहीं होगा, जो मेरा उत्तराधिकारी होगा वो मेरा बेटा होगा. So they actually work on that thing, and I'm like, great.
There are so many things that instead of that. Okay, so coming back to present. Okay, so sub brands, you have understood what sub brands are. Basically under the same brands, other Godrej brand extension in which the new product carries both the parent brand's name and the new name. Okay, so same thing, like Nescafe Sunrise, Nescafe Gold, Nescafe Sunrise, and so on and so forth. अगर उसको बोलते हैं तो हम sub brands बोलेंगे. Nescafe के sub brands are Sunrise and that. Okay. So brand portfolio. So brand portfolio includes all the brands sold by a company in a product category. ठीक है, जितने भी ब्रांड्स, आज नेस्ले के जितने भी ब्रांड्स है ना, एवरीडे, मिल्क मेड, मैगी नूडल्स, मैगी सॉसेस, मैगी क्यूब्स, yeah, all the brands that they have. Maggi is a brand, Milkmaid is a brand, Everyday is a brand, Nescafe is a brand, Kit Kat is a brand, Munch is a brand, Nestle classic chocolates are brands, and so on and so forth. Similarly, Unilever Surf is a brand, Lakme is a brand. So all the brands put together make a brand portfolio. Any one brand in a portfolio should not harm or decrease the equity of the other. Ideally, each brand maximize equity in combination with all the others. Okay. Brand portfolio reasons for introducing multiple brands in a category: increase shelf presence and retailer dependence in store, attract consumers seeking variety. Okay, now if you talk about Unilever, Unilever के personal care में, they have Fair and Lovely, they have Lakme, they have so many other brands which come under here. Okay, why do they need to have so many brands? Why can't they say that Lakme is also a part of Fair and Lovely? No, because first of all, they are four different categories. Okay, personal care में they have a lot of other brands. Okay, why can't they have a single brand name? Because they need to have different categories. And second very important thing is that they need to have a larger presence in the retail. Okay, or in the consumer's mind. ठीक है कि Nestle, Unilever, personal care में not only Fair and Lovely उसमें ये भी है, वो भी है, वो भी है, and it also takes a lot of shelf space. जितना shelf space लेगा उतना they say that consumer इक्विटी भी बढ़ता है. ठीक है, रिटेलर का डिपेंडेंस बढ़ता है उस कंपनी पे. ठीक है, शेल्फ प्रेजेंस से क्या होता है, जितना माल बिकेगा, एक आज लीवर्स के बिना एक रिटेलर चलेगा नहीं, बंद हो जाएगा. ठीक है, so to have that they had to have a lot of presence. So that presence could only be created with different products in the different brands in the. ठीक है, आज एक जमाना था जब when Horlicks was, आप तो यूपी में हो, you will be knowing better. एक जमाना था कि companies used to say, or retailers even used to say कि Nestle, Levers, Nestle and Horlicks, GSK, ये तीन कंपनी नहीं रहेगी ना तो वो दुकान बंद हो जाएगी. Something like that. ठीक है, धीरे धीरे of course many other companies came, ITC came, Godrej came, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Horlicks आपके यूपी में, यूपी से ईस्टर्न रीजन, यूपी से शुरू करके ईस्टर्न रीजन तक Horlicks was like mad. ठीक है, विदाउट Horlicks दुकान नहीं चलेगा ऐसा. Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, and so on and so on, Eastern UP. Okay. Okay. Increase internal competition within the firm. Okay. Economics of scale in advertising, sales, merchandising, and physical distribution. Okay. What is economics of scale, Priyanshu?
Yes, sir.
What is
economic scale?
Economies of scale. What is that?
Sorry, but I don't remember.
Okay, fine.
No.
Any idea, Aditi? So you're on mute, Aditi.
I don't have an exact idea, but there's an economics of scale and economics of.
Okay, economics of scale is basically आप जितना larger बनोगे, ठीक है, in your manufacturing, in your selling, whatever, जितना larger बनोगे, जितना बड़ा बनोगे, your cost goes down. Okay, and that's what economics of scale. The production, instead of producing 10 pieces, I'm producing 10,000 pieces. I'm able to sell 10,000 pieces. So because of economics of scale, my cost of production goes down. ठीक है, so आप जितना large, हाँ बोलो.
जैसे कि होलसेल मार्केट पूरा जिस मैकेनिज्म पे वर्क करता है.
Exactly, होलसेल मार्केट जो फंडामेंटल्स में मूव करता है. ठीक है, या तो बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जिस फंडामेंटल में मूव करता है कि मेरे पास इतने सारे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, इकोनॉमिक्स ऑफ स्केल मेरा एडवर्टाइजिंग में सस्ता पड़ जाएगा, मैं एक एडवर्टाइजिंग एजेंसी के साथ बार्गेन ज्यादा कर पाऊंगा, मेरा सेल्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स के साथ मैं या व्हाटएवर इन द मार्केट, होलसेल मार्केट में बार्गेन ज्यादा कर पाऊंगा, मैं मर्चेंडाइजिंग का खर्चा कम कर पाऊंगा, मैं it will be divided among so many products, right? मैं एक रिटेलर को जाके बोलूंगा मुझे इतना स्पेस चाहिए, I will pay you this much. The retailer will agree, and what happens is this whole cost gets distributed among so many products, right? So just because I have a large portfolio of products, my cost comes down in physical distribution, in merchandising, in sales and sales activities, in advertising, and so on and so forth. Okay.
But so there's this question, a very contradictory question. If एक brand portfolio काफी बड़ा है, okay, बट समझिए नेस्ले वाली चीज होती है, सम डे मैगी वाला सीन हुआ एंड पूरा मार्केट डाउन हो गया, तो उसकी वजह से कहीं ना कहीं पूरा एक प्रोडक्ट जो कि ब्रांड पोर्टफोलियो में शायद गड़बड़ हो और गलती से गड़बड़ हो जाए, वो पूरे के पूरे मार्केट को नहीं डाउन कर देता है सारी प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए।
Not necessarily. That's why you are going to build up an economical scale कि आपके पास 50 और प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, आप एक प्रोडक्ट डाउन होने से फर्क नहीं पड़े। आज यूनिलीवर्स को सपोज एक प्रोडक्ट डाउन हो, the whole portfolio is so large, उसके economics of scale is लिए it will not affect the whole operations, advertising, sales, merchandising, solution.
Sir, how do I say that? सारे कंपनीज के कुछ एकदम सबसे प्राइवेट प्रोडक्ट होते हैं, जैसे हिमालय उसका नीम फेस वॉश होता है सबसे ज्यादा बिकने वाला, और कल के दिन यही बोल दिया जाए कि इसके अंदर कुछ गड़बड़ है, ठीक है, तो मैं लोशंस नहीं बाय करूंगी, उसके फेस मास्क नहीं बाय।
It will affect. आज Nestle, when Maggi got screwed, ठीक है, in 2014 Maggi went into a toss, ठीक है, did the company close down? No. There was an effect on company's profitability, company's volume, company's sales, everything. But company did not close down. It had such a large portfolio. Maggi was just one product. Even under Maggi, there was Maggi sauce cubes, etc. The other products, other brands like Nescafe, Milkmaid, everything, they continue to sell. Maggi nahi bika. So it affected the company. However, it did not, because it was such a large company, the economics of scale did not allow the company to shut down or get so badly affected. It got affected, badly affected from that particular brand on the volume, on the turnover, on the profitability. Okay, for a time being. And because it had a huge strength, muscle power of other products get profitability and all, that's why it could build back, it could come back to the market. Okay. Possible special roles of brands in brand portfolio to attract a particular market segment not currently being covered by other brands of the firm. Okay. Basically, possible special roles of brands in brand portfolio. कभी-कभी क्या होता है ना, एक brand portfolio में when there are 20 brands or 30 brands or 40 brands, one brand may possibly help to get into one segment. Okay, something like, let me give you again an example from levers. So, take into consideration levers ka, or maybe talk about Reckitt and Coleman ka Harpic. Okay, that's one very unique product. Harpic ka, it's a very unique product. So if you need to get into the cleaning segment, okay, if you need to get into the customers who need a cleaning solution, home care cleaning solution for their toilets, that particular brand will possibly help Reckitt and Coleman to enter that segment. Correct? Possibly वहां पर और कोई product काम नहीं करता. Possibly levers also doesn't have that product. So उस market को penetrate करने के लिए, attract करने के लिए, that brand will possibly help you. That brand in that brand portfolio will possibly help you. Okay, to attract a particular market segment not currently being covered by other brands. Levers cover नहीं करता था, तो उस market में घुसने के लिए that particular brand of Harpic helped Reckitt and Coleman, right? Correct? To serve as a flanker and product flagship brand. So sometimes क्या होता है, you all know football, ना? ठीक है, फुटबॉल में क्या होता है, देयर आर फ्लैंकर्स ना, दोनों साइड के जो प्लेयर्स होते हैं, एक सेंटर फॉरवर्ड रहता है, एक लेफ्ट साइड से जाता है, एक राइट साइड से जाता है, राइट फ्लैंकर, लेफ्ट फ्लैंकर. So similarly, flankers are brands which help the flagship brand, which protect the flagship brand. ठीक है, flagship brand और anchor brand जैसे भी बोलो, ठीक है. So there are certain brands which acts as flankers. मैं इस ब्रांड को, मैं फ्लैगशिप ब्रांड को सपोर्ट करता हूं. सपोज समथिंग लाइक अमूल दही is not the flagship brand. Amul milk is the flagship brand, right? Amul dahi and butter are flankers. Yeah, they are not the flagship brand. They are not the main yielding brand. So they will help. They will be flanking with, with Amul milk, and overall they will help that flagship brand to be there strong. Correct. मेरे घर पे अमूल मिल्क नहीं आता है, लेकिन अमूल बटर आता है, अमूल चीज आता है, अमूल मक्खन आता है, अमूल दही आता है. So those brands overall had the flagship brand. Flagship brand is Amul. Correct. To serve as a cash cow and be milk for profits. Okay. So some of the brands become cash cows. They actually yield profits for the company. To serve as a low-end entry-level product to attract new customers to the brand franchise. Okay. Sometimes some brands help you get more customers. Okay. High-end prestige products to add prestige and credibility to the entire brand portfolio. So Nestle had chocolates for a long time. When they came with Kit Kat, that became a high-end prestige product to add prestige to the Nestle chocolates. Correct. Okay. To serve as low-end entry-level product to attract new customers to brand franchise. So Nestle Munch is a very important. A 5 rupees product, पूरा तहलका मचा दिया था chocolate brand. And till now, it is the highest distributed chocolate brand in the country. You know, Munch. Cadbury's is the highest seller in the country. Munch is the highest distributed chocolate brand in the country. Okay, you go to any corner of this country, you will get chocolate Munch. क्योंकि 5 रुपए का मंच है, ठीक है. कैडबरीज का 5 रुपए का कुछ भी नहीं है, ठीक है. पर्क भी है, उसका भी प्राइस बढ़ा दिया. पर्क फाइट करके मंच को हराने की कोशिश किया, लेकिन द क्वालिटी ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट वाज नॉट दैट गुड, पीपल डिड नॉट एक्सेप्ट मंच. पर्क, right? So Munch became the king in the chocolate market. A wafer's chocolate which created, and it's an indigenously made chocolate. You know, Nestle had that caliber of making Kit Kat wafer's chocolate, so they had the know-how. So that helped to make Munch, and Munch today is the. So it is a product which had a low-end entry-level product to attract new customers to the brand. To increase self-presence and retailer dependence in the store, to attract consumers seeking variety who may otherwise have switched to another brand. So some of the brands, they may not be flagship brands, they may not be great big brands. However, they help, consumers to retain that brand loyalty, attract consumers seeking variety. When the consumers want variety, why is Unilever is having so many variety of detergent powder, starting from Surf Excel to Wheel to whatever, Rain and whatever. Every price point में उसका product है, for different segments of companies, for different affordability, so that it doesn't want to leave any consumer going back. It is given so much of variety that consumer will not switch to any other brand. To increase internal competition within the firm, yes, when particular brands in a brand portfolio, they help increase a competition within the firm. As between the marketing managers, as suppose Surf Excel ka marketing manager is fighting with the marketing manager of Lipton tea. Both are big brands, so both are fighting with each other to have market space, to have growth, to have profitability. Who can give better profitability, better market share, and so on and so forth. Correct. To yield economics of scale in advertising sales. This is something which is the last one. Correct. Brand portfolio flankers, cash cow, low and entry level or high-end prestige brands. So what are flankers? Productivity of fighter brands to create a stronger points of parity with competitors' brands. Okay, fighter brands must be so attractive that they take sales away from higher price comparison brands. If connected to the other brands in the portfolio, must not be designed so cheaply that they reflect poorly on the other. Okay. So basically, what are these? These basically flankers, productive or fighter brands. So, something like, I'll give you an example. Lipton Taja fights Tata Tea. Okay, Tata Tea is the market leader. Okay, and Taja is a fighter brand, which gives a fight to that brand of Tata Tea. And why? Why does that fight exist? Because fighter brands must not be so attractive that they take sales away from the higher price comparison. So, आज Lipton के पास there are much higher price brands also, and Lipton Taja is also a brand. ठीक है, इतना भी strong fighter brand नहीं होना चाहिए कि अपना ही brand को मार. अपना दूसरा ब्रांड, देयर टू फाइट टाटा टी, टाटा अग्नि और व्हाटएवर, ठीक है, बिकॉज दे आर द सेम प्राइस लेवल, दे फाइट। लेकिन इतना भी स्ट्रांग होना नहीं चाहिए ताकि लिप्टन का अपना जो स्ट्रॉन्गर ब्रांड है, जो फ्लैगशिप ब्रांड है, उसको उसको कम्पीट करता है, ठीक है। तो इतना उसका प्राइस में इतना चीप नहीं होना चाहिए, उसको quality and price should have a parity so that it doesn't overtake the main brand of the company. Okay, so flanker brands are very important to maintain volume, maintain profitability, and fight competition. Okay, being in the same category or in the same price band. Okay. Cash cows, despite dwindling sales, some brands are retained due to their sustainability with virtually no marketing support. This comes from a matrix called BCG matrix. Okay, जहाँ पर every product has a life cycle. ठीक है, वो प्रोडक्ट बेसिकली इंट्रोडक्शन से जाके एक जगह आता है, जो जब इंट्रोड्यूस होता है वहां पर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ज्यादा होता है, देन दिस ब्रांड goes to a stage where this brand doesn't have much to have market share, but that brand is very very important to maintain profits. ठीक है, वो और ग्रो नहीं कर सकता है लेकिन प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बहुत देता है, इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं कैश काउ, ठीक है। So that cash cow needs to be milked as much as milked by capitalization on the reservoir existing brand equity. Brand preference is very high. वो market, उसका market और grow नहीं कर सकते. It has lesser growth, but high profitability. इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं cash cow. So these brands are very important to maintain profitability of that company. And low end entry level or high end prestige brands, sub brands leverage association from other brands by distinguishing themselves on price and quality. Okay. Role of a relatively low price brand to attract customers to brand franchise. Role of a relatively high price brand to add prestige to. So there are two kinds of sub brands. One is at the lower price band, and the other one is at a higher price band. The lower price band क्या करता है? Attracts consumers. Okay. And higher price band क्या करता है? अपना उसका उस brand का prestige maintain करते हैं and credibility maintain. Okay, so there are these sub brands can be at a premium level and at economic level. Economic level क्या करता है? More consumers बुला के लाता है, ठीक है, और जो premium products है वो क्या करता है? Prestige of that brand maintain करके रखता है, ठीक है। So that's important of the entry level or high end prestige brand, low end prestige brand, low end entry level brands, and high end prestige brands, ठीक है। So brand hierarchy is a useful meaning of graphically portraying a firm branding strategy by displaying the number and nature of common and distinctive brand elements across a product. So this is what brand hierarchy looks like. Okay, so Apple. So see how many products are there. iPhone, iPad, iMac, Apple Watch, Apple TV, iPad, iCloud, iTunes, and iPad. इतने सारे products है, इतने सारे brands है under the Apple. Apple is the umbrella brand, उसके under में इतने सारे brands. ठीक है, and then iPhone has so many sub brands, SE से लेके XS, and each one of them. iPad has so many, iPad Pro, iPad mini, ठीक है, Apple Watch series 1, series 2, iMac, MacBook Air Pro, iMac, Mac mini, Mac Pro, so many, correct. So this is the Apple brand I have. So Apple is the main umbrella brand, then the brand extensions, okay, or maybe sub brands. These are also sub brands of these sub brands. So this is the hierarchy of the brand. So this overall iPhone to iWork is the brand portfolio, and these are the sub brands. Correct?
So there is this statement. Just tell me, is it true or false that a brand is more consumer driven than the product driven?
Brand is more
right?
consumer driven than product driven. What does that mean?
Like so, when they say that consumer is the god. Whenever you make a product, it should satisfy the needs and wants of the consumer. So whenever you're making a brand as well, producing a sub brand or anything, it should be sufficing or satiating the needs of the consumer.
Yes, of
and
course.
not just
Otherwise the consumer will not associate with that brand. आज brand का first काम क्या है? It should be relevant to the consumer. How does it become relevant to the consumer? By satisfying the needs and wants of the consumer, right? and then only the consumer will start thinking about that brand. Correct. And then only the consumer will not only start thinking about it, will associate it with the brand. It will associate the elements of the brands with himself or herself, right? His brand name Apple का वो जो कटा हुआ Apple will only be relevant when this Apple phone satisfies the needs and wants. Correct.
Yes.
Her product can be either a commodity or a brand. What is a commodity? Which is only sells on price. It doesn't have any brand name. Either a unbranded product or a branded product. ठीक है, राइस इज अ कमोडिटी, लेकिन राइस को जैसे ही पैकेट में डाल दिया आपने, बासमती राइस को कोहिनूर या इंडिया गेट बना दिया, वो ब्रांड बन गया. When you add value to a product, when you add value to a commodity, ठीक है, it becomes, you can make it a branded product. ठीक है, आज suppose milk, you can make a value. milk को value addition किया, आपने पनीर बना दिया. ठीक है, सो पनीर कमोडिटी भी बन सकता है, पनीर ब्रांड भी बन सकता है. ठीक है, आपके दुकान, मिठाई की दुकान में जो पनीर बिकता है, कमोडिटी. सेम पनीर को आपने अमूल के पैकेट में डाल दिया, ब्रांड बन गया. तो ब्रांड रिप्रेजेंट्स अ प्रोडक्ट, राइट? करेक्ट. Does it make sense? Brand represents a product. As Apple represents a set of products, we're starting from a phone to an iPad, to a tablet, or an iPad. And all of them have different names, different brand names: iPad, iPhone, iPod, etc., etc. And they're all the brand portfolio. And there are sub brands below each one. Correct. Got it. Levels of brand hierarchy: corporate or company brand level, family brand level, individual brand level, modifier level, product descriptor. So corporate or company brand level, highest level of hierarchy, corporate image. Nestle, Unilever, P&G, these are all brand names, right? Godrej, ITT, corporate brand. Correct? It represents the corporate image, consumers associated with the company or the corporation making the product or providing the service. So you know, when you talk about ITC, you know what is ITC. It's into food, it's into hotels, it's into, you know, whatever else, into apparels. When you talk about Tata, you say Tata ka Motors hai, Tata ka Steel hai, Tata ka Hotels hai, and so on and so forth. Correct. So you associate that brand with the image of the company. Relevance and corporate or company brand plays a prominent role in branding strategy. Family brand, used in more than one product category, but is not necessarily the name of the company or the corporation. So Nescafe is a family brand. Maggi is a family brand. It doesn't represent the company or the corporation. However, under this, there are many different categories. Correct? If the corporate brand is applied to a range of products, then it functions as a family brand. If products linked to a family brand are not carefully considered, the association of the family brand may become weaker. If the product linked to the family brand are not carefully considered, if the products are not good products, then it harms the family brand. Correct. Individual brands restricted to essentially one product category, although multiple product types may differ. Customization of the brand and all is supporting marketing activity. If a brand runs into difficulty or fails risk to other brands, and the company is minimal. So if that particular brand fails, it doesn't have any risk to the company. Okay. Disadvantage of difficulty, complexity, and expense of developing separate marketing programs. So if you have individual brands, for it, you have to have separate marketing programs, separate expenses of development, R&D, everything, right? जो आज फैमिली ब्रांड के लिए नहीं होगा, जो आज कॉर्पोरेट ब्रांड के लिए नहीं होगा. Modifier level must further distinguish brands according to different types of items or model. Modifier designate a specific item or model type or a particular version of or configuration of the product. Function of modifiers is to show how one brand variation relates to other in the same brand family. Okay. So, coming to iPhone, iPhone is a brand. Then iPhone SE, iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, iPhone 10X, yeah, 11, yeah, 13, they are different modifiers, right? They have modified the same brand, okay, for one brand variation relates to other in the same brand family, to give different variations of the same brand. Help make product more understandable and relevant to the consumers. Okay, got this? And
Yes, sir.
And finally, product descriptors help consumers understand what product is and does. Okay, helps define relevant competition in consumers' minds. In the case of truly new product, introducing it with a familiar product name may facilitate basic familiarity and comprehension. So basically, every brand, Aditi, this answers your question. Okay. Every brand has a product. Every product has a brand. And product descriptors helps consumers understand what product is and does. So what is that? So everyday dairy whitener, Milkmaid condensed milk, Nescafe 100% instant coffee, Nescafe Classic 100% instant coffee, 100% instant coffee, Nescafe Sunrise blended coffee. Correct. These are what product descriptors. 100% instant coffee, or Maggie tomato ketchup, Maggie hot and sweet. These are what product. Tomato ketchup is not the brand name, right? Tomato ketchup is the product descriptor. Correct. Or same way, if you talk about Surf Excel Matic, you know that it's for washing machines. Surf Excel Matic top load and front load. You know what is top load, you know what is front load washing machine, correct? So that's called a product descriptor. Designing a brand hierarchy, the challenge in setting up a brand hierarchy is to decide. So if I talk about brand hierarchy, now let me again go back to let me go back to same ITC. So take any one of them. Okay, let me take ITC bingo. So in that hierarchy, ITC is the family brand name. Oh, sorry, is the corporate brand name. Bingo is the set of chips. Okay, Bingo is the family brand name. Bingo potato chips, Bingo potato chips. Chili sprinkled and salted. So what is the brand hierarchy here? ITC, Bingo, descriptor is potato chips, and salted is the variant. Correct. Now, when you make it salted, you make it chili, you make it paprika, you make it this, make it that, then you start getting extensions. You make Bingo's nachos, you make a different product categories. You do a brand extension. Correct. Got it? What I'm saying? You're launching different extensions are basically when you have different variants, different. The all chips, these are all snacking products. Okay. Only thing is that you're giving different variants, or even Bingo Mad Angles nachos. This is the brand extension. Cheese nachos. Correct. So what is the corporate brand is ITC. Bingo is the family brand, and then Mad Angles is the sub brand. Correct. Bingo's potato chips is the sub brand. Mad Angles has become another sub brand. This is nachos. This is potato. Correct. And these are all extensions of Bingo. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, it's 9 o'clock. Well, how much left?
मम्मी हम बस see
Chalo,
देखो क्या ना
let's finish this tomorrow. There are 10 more slides. Let's finish this tomorrow. So, कल मिलते हैं. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Aditi, Priyanshu?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
any questions before we?
No, sir.
Aditi?
no sir